Hello, I'm Kristen Lord, President and CEO of the Global Education and Development NGO IREX. Rampant disinformation, misinformation, and hate speech, often spread on social media, is one of the most serious threats to peace and social cohesion globally. Fortunately, we're not helpless in the face of this threat. During this brief video, you will hear from my colleagues about the threat posed by disinformation and how we can band together to combat it.
Social media has become not just an essential communication space, but a new kind of conflict space. If you think of cyber war as the hacking of networks, what I call like war is about hacking people on them. And one of the main lessons of the last few years is that it works. Organized disinformation campaigns have proliferated, targeting everything from elections to public health. They don't just threaten our peace and security, but come with real costs, where the so-called infodemic has made the pandemic spread even wider. While this topic has received far more attention in recent years, the hard reality is reinforced by the recent data from the US election shows that the platform companies are still behind the scale of the problem. Simply put, there is a desperate need for democracies like the US to improve their long-term resilience to disinformation. And this goes beyond changes in either software or legal code that get most of the focus in both policy and foundation world discussion. Certainly, platforms need to calibrate their recommendation algorithms that continue to drive viral misinformation. So too, the government should update how it oversees and even regulates the industry and its role in elections. But there is also a need to better equip the targets of such campaigns, us. Earlier this year, Carnegie looked at 85 reports from 51 different organizations that examine what to do about the problem of online misinformation. And by far, the most frequently recommended action item across all of the groups was to raise US digital literacy. Unlike nations such as Estonia or Ukraine that have experienced and then built up resilience to online threats, however, the United States still has no true national effort on the problem. Our school systems and citizens are mostly left on their own to learn how to discern between truth and falsehood online.
Thank you, Peter. That's a great description of the problem and the issue. I'm now going to talk about IREX's response and one of the tools that we use to address the problem. It's a media literacy solution. It's called Learn to Discern, and it's an approach that we've built in Ukraine to address Kremlin disinformation. But it has since been adapted to many other settings. The main principles of the approach is that it's apolitical, it's neutral, it doesn't focus on the content, it gives people the skills to differentiate between good information and bad information and recognize when they're being manipulated, regardless of whether the information is coming from. We find that this approach gives people that ability to be in charge of their information, discern between opinions and facts, understand when they're being manipulated versus informed or influenced, and most importantly, shape really responsible behaviors and protect and safeguard themselves and their communities. The program has been implemented in 13 countries to date, and we have applied it in a variety of formats, from building it into the education system to in-person trainings to online tools to public awareness campaigns. And throughout all of these different variety of formats, we see statistically significant great results in how people change their behaviors and sustain their healthy information engagement behaviors after the trainings, able to really shape and take control on how they engage with information.
As you've heard from my colleagues Katya and Peter, misinformation and disinformation is a profound threat to social cohesion, good governance, national security, and even public health. But when it comes to confronting this threat, there are no silver bullet solutions. The weaponization of social media is a complex phenomenon. It needs a multifaceted response. We need a holistic strategy that involves technology responses, possibly government regulation, and definitely building citizen resilience to misinformation. When the cost of creating and spreading disinformation is zero, we need citizens who have the tools to recognize emotional manipulation and sort fact from fiction. The need is urgent. We need to come together now to scale up effective initiatives to build people's resilience to disinformation. We need to invest in learning more about what works. Please join us to counter this threat to social cohesion, good governance, and peace.